Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media, the podcast. Shout out to everyone, as always. Very grateful tuning in through our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook group, HHDG. You can check out previous interviews through our YouTube channel, as well as what we post on our website, which you can see on the bottom, hhdgmedia.com, which also has previous music posted up there, as well as access to our merch and upcoming events. As always, this is made possible through our company, HHDG Media Inc., which consists of our 5 owners, our family, that is Skelly Top, T. Smith, Rock Vader KB, myself, Wiki, and Demir. For tonight, we have a talented guest repping the Oxnard, where we have so much talent always coming out of there, and I hope to get educated on a lot more of the history from the well-known city out of California. Our artist for tonight has established himself really well through his production, and tonight we're going to talk about showing off his MC skills on his new project, Sounds and Spite, which dropped on July 7th of this year. Before I talk a little bit more about him, I have to give a shout out to DJ Missile, who is how I discovered the producer and MC through her show on Twitch, which I'll definitely put the link up for anyone else that wants to go check her out, because she's always supporting the culture, playing music worldwide from everywhere, and has put me onto a lot of music as well, not just from the States, but other countries as well. So big shout out to DJ Missile, and continue support with what she does. She's on almost every day on Twitch, so you're always going to find something new on there, and even artists that you do know. For the artist that I will be speaking with tonight, he has really opened my eyes through DJ Missile's beat launch, which he's been on there since the 7th beat launch, and now they just finished the 26th one. And from there, talking in the comments and everything, I found it. He sent me to his Instagram page, and from there, just started checking out more and more of his music. Found out about him pushing his own boundaries and challenging himself with the 100 days and 100 beats. He also did the 12 tapes in 12 months. We'll definitely talk about that. And being part of a producer community, which I think is a great way to, get a good insight and opinions from other producers. So before we get into bringing our guest on, I also want to say a lot of producers out there have the talent, and you need to continue to push yourself the way our artist has done with his music and continues to do. And you got to take criticism as it's very important. And from there, who knows what else, can happen with your music. There might be something that you didn't pique your interest before, and now it's working for you, or you tried something new. But again, this is music. You got to take criticism. So our artist for tonight is definitely one that is open to opinions, and I appreciate, hearing that, and also seeing it in the comments when I'm on Twitch. And I definitely got to get on the Kick app more often, because now that I have it, I definitely got to go tune in on there as well. So without further ado, living right now in East Side San Jose, but always repping Oxnard, JX.
What up, man?
Peace. How you doing?
Saying you did your fucking homework. I was like, oh yeah, I almost forgot about 100 beats, 100 days. Feels like another lifetime ago, man. Damn. Thanks for having me, man.
Definitely, I appreciate it, and I love being able to discover an artist because it's not always the typical way of just hearing music. Sometimes it's like I explained through DJ Missile, and then just being on there, and then noticing that you were on the beat launch and hearing your beats on there, and then going to your IG, and then finding out so much more.
Yeah, and I feel like beat launch is also like a whole nother like different style that I used to do like when I
Mhm.
first started off production too. So like it's different from what you hear, fool spitting on over my beats or like my instrumental tapes. It's beat launch is more experimental, more underground, I guess. But like, yeah, man, and like you said through the comments, we'd be
Yeah.
we'd be a whole little ass community, and they're like, me, Data, everybody, you included too, Igbo. Shout out to all those fools, and
Yeah.
it's great to
And
have that community.
congratulations to Dirty Works, who just won beat launch number 26 that, was recently done.
Yeah, shout out to taking one from Data. That fool needs to keep his mantle open. So, yeah, man, thanks for having me again, man.
No
Appreciate
doubt, no doubt. Now, being that, production is what how I discovered you. Growing up, is that was that your very first thing that you got into?
So yeah, interesting enough, I started first off playing in bands, actually, like rock bands and stuff. Back when I was a little, wait, hold on, I think my little one's coming in here. What's up? Oh, you're Wolverine. Nice. You want to come in and sit in the back? Or are you good? Okay, come on in, just sit in the back, man. Yeah, my kid over here being Wolverine. Have a seat, Neil. Yeah, growing up, I was actually a little bit older than he is.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started, like discovering my mom's like guitar that I actually still got over here, and
Nice.
probably one of my first early memories was sitting on my dad's lap while like he was playing drums one time. So like my parents come from a musical background,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I was about his age when I started getting interested and like pretending like I was playing kind of like he does. Um, and yeah, man, it started off with just me wanting to, and then by the time I got to fourth, fifth grade, I saved up to have my first little guitar, and by the time I got to freshman year in high school, I had my own band. We were doing shows, uh, like some pretty big shows too for the metal underground scene, and then
Nice.
end of high school, we kind of transitioned more into like what's called like post-hardcore type of style, and
Mm-hmm.
into college actually, and they're still doing their thing. They're actually out in Europe right now. Shout out to Hell the Sun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I used
Very
to play bass for Hell the Sun. I was one of the founding members, and we're still cool and all that. It's just got to the point where it was like I was doing beats heavy, I was doing
Mm-hmm.
Hail the Sun heavy, I was doing school heavy, and it was just too much to manage at the same time.
I get
And at the moment that was going down, like beats were kind of just taking off for me. So like, I took that up instead of the like breaking my back playing bass. And so I was like, you know what, you guys are going one way, I'm going this way, and so amicable split, and that's how it started. And then from there, we just started taking off and meeting people in my community.
nice,
Yep.
nice. Mm. You said your family has a musical background. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah. So my dad used to play in like you call it like Mexican regional bands and stuff. Doing corridos and stuff like that, cumbias. My mom was in like mariachis and stuff growing up. She went to
All right.
CISA, and so they got like a crazy music program out there. And she'd been playing guitar. She didn't get really too much into it. She's more like a rhythm player. So like,
Mm-hmm.
when I when I found her guitar, it was pretty clean and pretty brand new. So she let me at it, and we all good. Yep.
Wow. That's a great influence right there.
Yeah, man. And yeah, they'd always let me listen to everything. My aunts who I grew up with, like they were on Metallica, Rage Against the Machine, but also like
Mm.
Wu Tang and Tribe Called Quest and Public Enemy, huge influence on me. So
Yeah, that's the best way to listen to music is have a diverse sound, coming from everywhere.
yep, This man thinks he's Wolverine right here. Oh. Yeah.
He's not shy from the camera.
No, he's not. He loves it. He loves it.
So tell us, a little bit about you growing up in Oxnard, because we know people like the whole Loop Pack crew, Mark Ford, Ozzy, MED, Metaphor. So tell us, your experience.
Yeah, so I grew up on both sides of town. Growing up with my grandma, like from like 1 to about his age, I was like mainly on the north side, over there in the housing projects of La Colonia. My parents would work, Monday to Monday, so I'd see them like 3 hours on a Saturday, real quick, and they go back to like their 5th shift. So I'd just be living with my grandma, and I pretty much lived with her until about end of kinder. So yeah, actually exactly his age.
Okay.
And then that's when I kind of like moved back in with my parents. And I went, and the whole time my parents had a house out on the south side. So I used to live out there. Later on moved out to Las Trailas. And so that's kind of where I grew up. A little bit of a bookworm when it came to it, but I was always like into music, video games, skating, basketball, the works, everything, all kinds of Oxnard activities pretty much. And yeah, it wasn't, like I said, until about like, I was like in 6th grade when I met my friends that are now Hail the Sun and other ventures that like we started finding our common ground, and that, oh dang, you listen to damn near everything. Oh, me too. And so after that, it was like the lifestyle I live now began then, which was, kick it with fam all day, and then the moment 7 to 8 hits, like it's music time. It's
music.
It's getting creative. It's letting loose. It's not anything serious, and so like I've maintained that lifestyle up until now, and everyone seems to be cool with it. And yeah, man, like as you heard in ESSJ, like never rep, no said, no nothing like that. But we're in Oxnard, so my cousin's cousin one day and all that, and one thing leads to another. By the time I got to end of high school, I was like, yeah, I need to get the heck out of here. So I dipped out end of high school. Luckily, I was fortunate enough and privileged enough to go to school in Chico. And that's where the beat stuff really took off, and got my first MPC, and it was a wrap from there.
Nice.
Yep.
Who was one of your influences with the MPC once you got it?
Premiere. I know RZA used the SP1200, but like the chopping style of RZA, especially like only built for Cuban links.
Yeah.
Days, like, oh man, that was all me. Alchemist too. Being from Oxnard, growing up, it wasn't up until probably like last year of high school that I started getting into loop packs. It was like 05, 06. So they've been out and been doing their thing for a while. I was still, I was in my rocker food days, so like I wasn't really too much into the local hip hop scene. However, like I do remember vividly, 6th grade actually, when one of my friends who was in the metal band I was talking about earlier, I remembered it was like some random like Thursday or something. Like I get out of school and I see the flyer just like chilling on the floor, like Dilated Peoples, Jurassic 5, Loop Pack at the local Boys and Girls Club for like $10-15, dude. And I'm like, oh, I gotta go. Like, I gotta find a way. This is 6th grade, so it's my first show. And moms didn't have it. I was thinking of ways to like, oh, if I could just get like $5 here, $5 there, and just somehow bike my way. By the time I like had $7, the show had already started, and I was like, dang, I gotta bike all the way, down this way. So I just ended up not going. Come to find out, the next day, my homie Nico went to the show. But because we were so like early into like knowing each other, he didn't know I was in hip hop like that. And so yeah, I came in with the Dilated Peoples shirt, and I was like, you went, like, oh my god, I should have known. And so I knew of Loop Pack and them then, but not too much so until it really came to me in college, when I really got to like dive into discography and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how did it feel to know that there was someone from your hometown
Bruh, Ocean View Junior High. They walked through the same halls I walked through like a decade before me. You know, it's a trip. Like going through College Park and like being told that was, Ono's pad and being like, at the time, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I kept walking. But
Mhm.
like later on, when I found out, I was like, ah, dang, like Oxnard is a crazy place, but I know you do your homework. So like in that same neighborhood, I don't know if I'm out of too much, but like in that same neighborhood, you got Ono on one side, you got Fernando Vargas on the other side. And then like, for a while you go down to the beach and you'd see Dave Grohl. So like, it was a very wild, I wouldn't say wild, but just like it's very surreal and like a smorgasbord of everything. Like,
All
and I
types
think
of
that
talent.
also reflects in the music. Yeah, like fools are skating, but then the same fools that are skating are like over here, like, yeah, don't put it in there. Man. The same fools that are skating are literally like gonna go bang on somebody, but then they're gonna go like to the beach and then like, I don't know, go to Chumash and
Mhm.
like come back in six and do it again. And it was very it was a very diverse area in regards of interests.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Mm. Are there any other elements in hip hop that you have tried out besides the MCing and production?
A little bit of writing here and there, and not too much the dancing though. Yeah, but a little bit of writing. I tried DJing a little bit, but not really for me. It was mainly just because of the need for someone to do the decks and handle that. Then I
Uh-huh.
went over there. But if it wasn't for that, I would have never touched decks. Obviously, like I tried crabbing and stuff, but never like disciplined art like I did then.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, yeah, man.
Now, you mentioned you moved to San Jose, and
Yeah.
you said this was a tough choice for you to move from your hometown to a whole
Yeah.
new city.
Yeah, man. At the time, so went to school out here in Chico to be an educator, and that summer of graduating and being done with everything, my plan was I'm gonna move back. I'm gonna just grind it out
Hmm.
and do music out there and teach if I can. But I got out a little later because of some technicalities on one of the assessments. So I didn't get to Oxnard till like July-ish, and like it's a little late in the year for educational hires at that point. So it was like August 15th ish, and like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just sub it out, and like you know my parents were cool with me, kind of just chilling there, and so long as I didn't do anything stupid and paid my way. They were cool with me being there. So I was like, all right, fine, this is what I'm doing. And like, August 15th, I've been up at 5. I get the call, hey, we'd like to interview you up here in town near San Jose. And, they're like, oh, can you come down later on? I'm like, I'm 5 hours away. And so, long story short, my little brother ends up letting me borrow the 180 that I needed to like get some gas and like be able to stay out. What my little brother at 7th grade had 180 tucked in the back, whatever. Shout out to my mans. But yeah, came up, got the job as I'm about to be heading back. Also, I was supposed to do a beat battle that weekend, and I had to drop out of it. Shout out to the ASR homies. They understood. They're like, "Nah, you go do your thing." I was like,
Hmm.
"I feel bad though." They're like, "Nah, dude, you're gonna really like." And I really had that moment where like, "Nah, I'm gonna do the beat battle instead of getting this interview for a career that I've studied for." Um, but yeah, no, I came out here and like starting with that, like just kind of knowing that my career was gonna take precedent first for a while. It was a little bit hard, but I it's weird. Like I'm in this situation where I even mentioned to my wife a couple weeks ago where I'm like, I don't know if you ever watched that movie Soul.
Yes.
Yeah, remember the part where the lead singer tells homeboy like the story about the fish in the ocean, like you're in the ocean, bro. Like that part hits so much differently like about a year ago because I'm like, oh shit, I'm in the ocean, like I'm doing
Ocean.
what I said I was
Mhm.
gonna do, which was I'm gonna teach to pay the bills and I'm gonna do music and do what I love doing, that I've been doing since junior high, and so yeah, it's surreal when you're in it because it doesn't feel like you're in it.
Mhm.
It's just like, oh, I'm actually doing what I said I was gonna do, but it's not going down how I thought it would go, but you're
Right. Right.
still doing it. So like it's difficult, but knowing that you're doing what you said you were gonna do made it a lot easier. And then end of the year met wifey, and so that was a lot easier too.
staying determined is, it's not easy with the way life can present things to you.
Playing the long game is the thing that I realized I'm in for in every aspect of stuff, and it's the harder path, but it's the path that's more sustainable to me in all aspects of things, mentally, economically, longevity wise. Playing the long game is always the best. Yep.
Now, you speaking on education.
Yeah.
Tell us about college life.
I mean, Chico State, let's go Wildcats. It definitely is the school that people say it is, but I feel like the homie said it best. Like, you're gonna see who's here to study and partake, but also who's just here to partake and not study, and they're just pissing away their dollars at that point. Especially the years I was there, like it was the years of the furloughs. So like,
Okay.
there were a couple of semesters there. I had to stay there an extra year too because there was a year where I didn't have like a prerequisite. Because they only offered like 2 sections and they filled up like that. And so, it was crazy, man. Like I really met some like, 7th year seniors, and I'm just like, what are you doing, man? Like and like honestly, like I'm from Austin. Like I'd already done all that. Like by the time we got there, so it was just like it was just a different crowd. And then I'll be honest, you got a little old after a while. And in retrospect, I wish I would have found out about disc golfing a lot earlier. At some point, or late. And I would have loved going out to Bidwell Park a lot more. Honestly, I'd say if anyone goes out to Chico State, get into disc golf, check out Bidwell Park, one of the most beautiful parks in the country, really. Sorry to hear about the fires recently, I think. But it's a party town. It's very isolated. It was cool though. I did get to meet my dude IQ out there, Quentin Fields. He goes by now, and actually also an educator. We knocked out a project while out there. I'll get you that one because I know you like to dig in the archives. And that one, I don't even think there's links available anymore. Maybe not, but yeah, we knocked out a project over there. It was like really like think like a Ninth Wonder Little Brother-y sounding with the production, and then like just like Kanye College Dropout bars type of days. So yeah, Quentin Fields, met him out there, and he's actually out here now too with me. He's out in the East Bay, and yeah, man, it was crazy, and that's where Hail the Sun kind of got our like stomping grounds going, and like I said, it was a little weird. They're juggling both, where it was like, oh, I gotta do a show over here at this spot doing beats this day, but then I gotta go over here and do rehearsal and then have a show the next day, and then I gotta study for my midterm. Right after that. It was nuts, man. It was definitely an experience, but I was fortunate enough to have like my best friends, my brothers out there, Eric and Donovan with me, who, like I said, are in Hail the Sun, and it was nice, man. Like they held me down. Donovan actually does a guest appearance in an old EP. Eric's got a couple of like solos and a couple of beats, so we all got it in still with each other, and still tap in.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Has math always been a favorite subject of yours?
It's actually been my least favorite. And that's what I was going to say earlier, where you were talking about your math. I'm like, it's the funny part. I'm not a math person. The whole JX thing happened where, like I said, like they're there through the whole thing with me. I remember one night me and Eric were up, doing riffs and practicing bass parts and stuff. I'm like, dude, like, this is at the time where I'm starting to meet people. I'm starting to meet like Chris Fuchsia's Cross. And so like we're starting to get songs together. Actually, my name was, I had my name down before that, but like it was like an iffy thing. Like I was still kind of like, should I not? And I was playing with it where I was thinking 2 different names, and we leaned towards JX just because, we're up late. It's Chico, and we started going on this thing about how like shit's just all variables and we're the only coefficient that exists if life were a mathematical representation, where like if this minus this happens, you get this product. And it's just like we just went off on that. And so then, the J, me, coefficient with the variable X, whatever I'm working with, are on. And it could be the MPC, it could be keyboards, it could be the guitar. that's still gonna be me and something and gets the product. And then that's gone on to be other things too, where like PLFG, like whenever we do our collabs, any artist out there is gonna hear this in live or in the playback knows that I code my beats. So what I mean by that is like I don't name it; it's just a code. So like
Just
instead of naming it like cloudy days, like it'll be like right now I'm on the PT series, so like it'll be PT 55 dash something, and like you know, and so people will be like it's one of the KTs or like anyways, for all the PLFG collabs, it's J whoever. So like if it's me and let's say like Swa, it'll be J Swa 4-5, and so it'll be like the fourth beat I made with Indara. If it's me in the trade collab, J Trade, and that goes on to like the 40s.
You got your own personal metadata going on.
Yeah, and I really had to, man, because I mean, you see the output. Like it got to the point where I was like, all right, I've already named this dark something or like hazy whatever, and so I just originally we had this rule with Hail the Sun and all that like instead of because even back then we had that like production output of like we're gonna keep writing and write and write and write and see how much we could write one day. It was instead of wasting time on like, well, what are we gonna call this, and then just like kill the vibe or kill momentum, we would just first thing we saw, boom, that's the name of it. We're calling it that, and so that way we know playing this song when we say that name, yada yada. And so like that got old with me and the beats, and so that's where I was like, I got to start coding stuff, and so the JX kind of took a whole different meaning with that one.
So going along with the way you name your tracks,
Yeah.
How do you start off with your production? Is it always a same sequence that you have it, or is it just a certain feeling and then you just go to it?
I'd say usually it starts off with like a sound, like some melody, a sample, chord progression. Very rarely is it usually the drums first. I actually have a drum start series for that one, where like I did start off with the drums and then I'll just like build around that. But usually it starts off with like a sample, that little melody or that little tune that I hear out there, and I'm like, oh, I gotta flip that. And from there it goes into drums, then bass, then the layers. Then after that, honestly, every single time I send a beat out to like I never send it to my structure. This might be the like band influence, old like Minor Threat punk days where like to me like fuck it, a song could take any structure. It doesn't need to be intro, hook, verse, hook, bridge, hook. Like it could just be a straight verse. It could just be a hook, verse, hook. It could be verse, hook, verse, and that's it. So I usually just send a loop out of what I hear is like the overall structure of the beat, and then from there we usually go back, and that's where I get my producer on and make the edits, make the changes structurally or just like edit wise or effect wise or whatever, to then just tailor to whatever they're writing to. So like a certain line needs to be accented. Like I remembered one of the lead record tracks, I think it might have been Karateka. Like Karateka was just a straight loop, but then we went back and like we actually did it. Part of it we did it remotely because Lee's down in the 805 right now, out in Fillmore, and I'm up here, so it's like, we can just link up through Zoom real quick, and I'll just run my audio through, and you can see the DAW, and you tell me, take off this part of the bar, and there we go. We produce while being 300 plus miles away. Yeah, man.
So I have to ask.
Yeah.
I mentioned in the intro the 100 days, 100 beats. Was that more of a challenge to see where you're at and what you're capable of doing?
Yeah, at the time I think it might have been like, was it late pandemic? Like second year? Might have been 2021 that I did that, right? Yeah, 2021, I think. I can't remember, bro. That whole time was a phase. All I remember is that I was inside a lot. No, yeah, it was, because that's when I first started streaming on Twitch. Yeah, 2021. Yeah, because I didn't start streaming until the end of that year. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to have like a little. It started off with me just thinking of like I playing to my strengths. Like I know I'm consistent. I know I could knock that out. Let me see. Let me hold myself accountable to it, type of thing. And then I was launching my Twitch at the time, so I felt like I needed like a little something to stand out there.
Yeah.
And at the time, Twitch was cracking. Everybody was still indoors, and streams would fill up, no problem. And yeah, I just started doing it where I was just like, you know what? I know I could knock out 100 days, 100 beats straight, and has a nice ring to it, kind of like 12 takes, 12 months. Um, and I just started doing it. And I think there was only like maybe like 2 days where it got a little tough with the schedule and like, going back to school, I think in person at the time, but still being like in the middle of it. And I think was I done with 12 takes? Yeah, I had to have been done with 12 takes, 12 months. I was starting off the PLFG stuff. That's what it was. I was starting off doing the compilation work and like really taking more of a leadership role in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So like it got a little, again, like juggling all the hats and doing all the plates and everything. It got to be a little bit much. So there was like a day or two where I was like, oh shit, it's 10:30 and I haven't made a beat because I didn't stream today and I just passed out from like 7 to 10 right now. So like I'd wake up, do a video real quick, and then boom, and go to bed.
To it.
Yep. Yeah, that was nuts. I totally forgot about that actually. You just took me down memory lane right now.
Now, if anybody wants to go and check some of those out, they're on your YouTube, and you can go through your solo website, which I just put up for them to go through there, which is pretty much has everything JX that you want to check out.
Yeah, man. And yeah, that YouTube, there's a couple. It's funny. I actually did check it out probably like 2-3 months ago, and one of the beats that I made during 100 days, 100 beats, I think went to Bones and was on the EP that we put out, Manifest Tape. And I was like, oh shit, I totally forgot I made it during that. I think it was the Don't Get Me Wrong joint. It was a trade collab too. So yeah, it was like when I was first getting like loops off from trade, and I remember I flipped it and I was like, oh. Yeah, man.
And continue on with Twitch.
Yeah.
How did you discover DJ Missile?
Soy.
Soy is real.
Yeah, shout out to Soy.
Yes, indeed.
One day we were just, in his room, in his stream, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna rate out DJ Missile. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And like got sent over, and you see a lot of DJ streams and it's like, all right. Mm-hmm. But like I remember right off the bat, like we went in and it was just some like grimy, like hard, perfect sound quality. Everyone saying what up. Felt right at home. And so like started tuning in every so often. At first I was just in there like once or twice, not really knowing what was up, but I remember it really got solidified when I started going into work. And this is also too like it was last year, so like kids were still kind of like coming out of pandemic, all that stuff. And so I'd have I had a different schedule too. I had like a block schedule that gave me like 2 hours of prep time. And so that's when I think I really locked in last year, where I was like, I'd have my first class, but then when I came back, it'd be like the second part of your show, like that like 10 to like 12 time period that she hits, where she just is spinning everything and a little bit more conversation. Well, she's conversational throughout the whole thing, but she's winding down, so she's like trying to stay awake type vibe. And so like after that, we would just chat all the time. And yeah, man, it's one of my favorite shows to tune into in the morning. It's my morning radio, honestly. Like, and I'm not just saying that because we shouting her out. It really is my morning radio. Yeah, probably running up the gigabytes on there crazy, but it's worth it. Damn it, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to give DJ Missile a lot of credit because again, most DJs that go on there is maybe once, twice, or 3 times a week. She's consistently on there, and at least 3 to 4 hours.
Yep.
And it's there's no filler. I mean, the music that she's playing, a lot of the underground boom bap that we know from the States, other music from other countries, other genres, and then she brings in the aspect of vinyl, of different genres as well, which I love seeing that because I'm all the way across the world, and here she is with vinyl that I might recognize, and some of it I don't recognize, which I'm like, let me write this down and go check this out later on.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely. And to me too, it's just like I I don't have a radio station that plays the music I like.
Mm-hmm.
And so having her stream put me on to shit that like I didn't even know came out, especially with the output that we all have right now, where it's like you got to drop like 5 projects a year,
Right.
and
Yeah.
pray you stay consistent. Like it's crazy how much music I've fallen. Like with homies of mine, I'll be like, "Damn, you dropped! I didn't even know." And like I'm trying to actively keep up with you, so
Yeah,
I definitely can understand how someone might not be able to keep up with me too. So
it's true.
yeah, it's hard, man. It's too much music, and I'm glad I have her to be a filter.
Yeah. And the other aspect is being that she's in Bangkok, Thailand, she also shows the culture over there as well. And also how hip hop is over there as well as certain events. So I love, being able to witness that because watching a lot of um, films, TV series from other Asian countries as well as anime, you get an insight into the culture. And I watch a lot of stuff in the original language. So at the same time, I pick up on certain things, and also watching it, you see the differences in how we do things in the US and how they might do things in other country.
Yep.
And what we might consider normal is not normal, for what they do or vice versa. So
Yep.
it's always great to get an insight of the culture from an actual person living in another country.
Yeah, man. It's just such a trip too. Like the kind of like with PLFG too, where it's like we just know so like no, not like oh I talked to this person. Like I feel like I know Data, I know you, I know Missiles. Like like
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. I know T-Rap. Like if I'm ever out in Canada, like I'm about to tell that fool I'm in town. But yeah, I think that's another thing where like I was having this talk with wifey about it, where like I feel because we might come from like a more like recent generation where we're more. For me, I felt like I got it from the like old days of like playing Xbox Live, where I don't know who I'm talking to at the end of
Yeah.
this person, but this fool's gonna meet me here every 11 p.m. and he's here for me. Like I think it comes from that like we have a different perspective on online communities, and
Yes.
I love it, dude. It really it shows our interconnectedness within the world. Little teacher coming out right now, but yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the positive aspects of the way the internet is, and we have our own little sub communities, and then sometimes those communities we might actually get one day to meet some of those people in person.
Yeah, man. Shit, PLFG, bro. Like it's crazy. They had East Coast meetups where like people within the tri-state area met up. They had an LA meetup, which me and Produce tried to go out to, but the schedule just didn't work out. And I mean, if I ever go out to Nova Scotia, I already know I'm good with AXA and all them, and those are my people. Like AXA, I talk to AXA more than I talk to my parents, bro. Like. It's crazy. Like I talk to that fool damn near daily. 10 as well. Johnson out in Europe, out in the Netherlands. Baby Chino, I haven't talked to him recently too much, but there was a while there where I was in daily contact with Baby Chino. He's out in Australia. Like, it's crazy, man. And then just even within our own United States, like knowing Bones and the whole Everything's Working crew and Bernie and them, like. Yeah, I can't wait to go out to Memphis, honestly, and just experience that whole vibe out there. And yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing how we can be connected even though we're separated geographically.
Yep.
Yep.
It's amazing. Let's go into the 12 months, 12 tapes.
Oh boy, yeah. So
he said, "Oh boy."
This one I remember a little bit more, just because it was just too much key shit happened throughout that whole like rollout thing. Because damn. Now that I think of it, 12 tapes in 12 months. The Next to the Pacific might have came out in. No, it came out in November, I think. Anyways, that whole thing started off with me really wanting to come back and be an artist. I think like 5 months before, I met with a consultant about me taking my whole music career more seriously.
Mhm.
Lamont Grace, actually, I did the seminar with Lamont Grace, and I remember that session. Like he was like, this is one of those things where you'll get as much as you put in, da 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 da. And I really put myself out there, man. And like you said, taking criticism, man, I definitely I took a lot of heat at seminar. But like he was coming at it from a place where like, bro, if this is really what you want to do, what are you doing with this? Like
Right, right.
I remember one thing he made fun of me of, and actually now coming back to it, like I know exactly how I would have spun that. Where like on my Instagram, I just had a random picture of some food. And he's like, bro, you're a producer. Why the fuck are you posting food? Like if you tied this to like a song you did or like something else, then that
Right.
makes
Yep.
sense. And so like, yeah, like, I cleaned up a lot. And so this 12 tapes in 12 months was that resurgence, reemerging of me as a producer. And also I think something that like, unfortunately, I feel like I hope more MCs, especially now being on both sides of it, I hope more MCs realize that you need your producer. Producers don't need you. I'm sorry. But it's a fact. Like I don't need an MC. I would like MCs. But at the end of the day, I can still put my beat out. I can't remember the last time I got an acapella project from anybody.
I was going to say that.
And that's not a hate. That's not a hate thing. And that more comes from like a perspective of like in the churning out of music at the time too. I was feeling like I was getting a lot of dead ends with a lot of artists where it was like, oh, we're almost there. And again, being in both sides of it now too, I understand how these dead ends can happen. Yeah, I just was like, you know what? I'm not waiting on people no more. I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna drop these beats. Also with the brand, Lamont really was like, what is JX? And I told him, it's whatever I'm working with it on. I'm a diverse artist. Like I don't just do one type of beat. And he's like, well, do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it just clicked. And I was like, oh. And then I even said it, I think at the seminar, I'm like, you mean like do like a beat tape of like all the sounds? He's like, yeah, you can even double up. And there you go. And start thinking like not just a beat tape, but the brand. The beat tape is the brand. So that's where it just like, okay, we're going to be doing this way. And it's not just going to be me flipping records and spitting in the garage with the homies. It's going to be, I'm doing this. I'm trying to monetize my art, but I'm going to be me and unapologetically me. And so that's where the first one that came out, Short Circuit, like had to come out representing that like synth based hip hop that is Oxnard, like all the, where's my mini move? Mini move, so it's over there. Like that mini move sound, there's like 3 beats there that were just straight mini moves. And like, yeah, I wanted to show my sound, so I did that first. Then afterwards knocked out Ode to the Old School, which was a collab project between me and Kami Sama from Planet Ox, the crew, and then after that, it was just, like I said, at that time too, like I remember vividly, I just finished recording a verse in this shed for Cuzzy from Slump Boys, free Cuzzy by the way, and I'm showing them the list, like, yo, like, what do you think of this list? Like, I'm making like a beat tape per like every single thing. And I remember when we got to the South Ox one, he was like, yeah, that one right there. And I'm like, I'm like, obviously, like, we're gonna be biased, and I told him the whole concept of it, that like, South Ox was just the one that came after Ode to the Old School. Like, the concept was an ode kind of to like my part of town, but the track listing is the streets I would take coming home from school. And every single time I come home from school, that's where the shit would pop off, or like the skit that you hear going off through there where, you just hear someone calling someone out, or like, where you from, dog? Like, even me in my like, youth large Levi's 569s, I'd get called out once or twice, like, so I'm just trying to go home, bro. Like I'm a fucking civilian. I don't know what to tell you, dog. And that where like I'm trying to tell a story through my beats, through what I'm trying to show you who I am, through my beats. And so that was where 12 Tapes in 12 Months came from, as thinking of brands to make, thinking of how to tell my story. And like literally, the one with my grandma, con la bendición de mi abuela, like that is literally me telling you my life from like birth to like, about that time where, like I said, I moved out to South Ox, which then connects to the other beat tape.
Right.
And then, yeah, soul beats. I mean, my soul sound, known, fools love it. I had to give them that, which is why I had to give them part 2. That's where you build out the brand. Short Circuit 2, I had to give them the sequel to the first one because, oh, hey, what up, NJ? What up, fool? And then what else I do? Oh, Rocker Fool. Had to do Rocker Fool. Can't put the limelight on a very big piece of me, which is that rock influence. And then Las Trailas really was like a part 2 of South Ox. I just didn't want to call it South Ox Part 2, so it got the name Las Trailas because one of my homies from back home was like, you should just do one for us. I'm like, all right, cool. So, also kind of like the same path, same idea, name it after the streets we would play on, or just, run it through. Yeah, next to the Pacific at the end. Oh, Light the Candle. How could I forget, too? Light the Candle. I had to show the range on that one with the R&B joints. I don't know if you heard that one.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, that one is the one that threw fools off. Like, and this was something Lamont told me, too. He's like, yo, just know that if you do what you're thinking of doing, expect fall-offs. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, expect fools just to not fuck with something. Like, because they're so used to getting this from you, they're not gonna be used to you giving them different things until they know that that's your brand. So just work on building
right.
It'll come. And so I remember when my numbers were looking kind of nice, or I was like, all right, cool. At the time, I was like, all right, cool, get me. And I remember I dropped Light the Candle, and it was like 10 plays for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh shit, like I should have maybe not done this. But then the fun part out of that come around, was it last year? Well, a little bit after I dropped it, because you've been working on it for a while. The 2 Enzom joints I did, one's from South Ox, Terrace Ave joint, which became Locksmith, and then On Me is actually one of the joints from Light the Candle, which I even told Enzom, I'm like, bro, I would have never sent you this beat. Like, it's the last beat I would have ever sent this fool. But I remember the day he was like, yo, this song, you got to send it to me. Tell me it's open. I'm like, yeah, like, oh, like, you're going to send it to like your cousin or something? He's like, no, I got it. I'm like, with certain fools, like, they tell me they got me, I'm not going to question them. So I remember I was like, all right, here you go. Send them the track, and sure enough, got On Me as it was. So that was another thing where, like, I came at it with 12 Tapes in 12 Months, where I was like, you know what? I got to put these beats out there so fools know that there are my beats out here.
Yep.
Maybe some of them become songs. And sure enough, like I said, Terrace Ave from South Ox. I forgot the name of the song on Light the Candle that became On Me. Also had a joint from Short Circuit 2 be the joint for Short Circuit and me and my homie Vin Rose. So a couple of those joints too, like I already made the song, and I'm still getting the royalties from the instrumental.
Ooh.
And then the song. And so that was another thing where I was like, boom, gotta drop beat tapes. Because then I'm still releasing, and then it's almost like I'm like killing like 5 birds in the future in the multiverse as I release it, because then later on someone might want it. Or it's also happened too where I don't know if, I bet you see me typing about it in the chat lately, where I've been getting a lot into the Web3 world with Algorand and stuff. And one of the joints off of Short Circuit is actually a part of one of the Web3 games that we play. Shout out to Hurley and Yomo. And yeah, so, from there, it's already content that's made. It can get used for other things. It can get used for syncs, placements, or like for that situation, a video game, a Web3 video game. And it's already made, and yeah, I don't know which. I feel like I missed the big one of 12 Tapes in 12 Months. Later on, I'm gonna tell you about which one I missed, but
It's gonna pop in your
it's gonna
mind.
pop in later. Yeah, but yeah, next to Pacific was just my West Coast stuff, and yeah, I just showed the range of the sound. You know, I can get grimy, I can throw you some R&B, I can go back to synth type hip hop, or you know, I could go West Coast with it.
That's dope.
Yeah,
And
man.
I love for a producer to try and dive into their sound and then see what else they're capable of, because it's not always about um what you like as far as what you've already put out there, but a person like you, prime example, the diverse music that you grew up on. So your ear is different, and then you're able to put that forth into your own music. So give it a try, and then see what comes from that.
Yeah, thanks, NJ. Yeah, man, and also to me too, it was more so just like I said, with the consistency and the output thing. Also, shout out to being from Oxford, I guess it comes in the blood. Where like, you know, knocking out 8 beats in one night is Monday work. You know, like, you know, like that's just kind of what we do. Like, what you didn't knock out 4 today? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's a trip meeting people who are like, nah, I can only do 1 beat. But like, I get it. You know, they have different processes. It's not quantity isn't amounting to quality. Whatever, you know, it is what it is. But it's just it's part of that like I feel like also too like we have so much that we have to put something out. Like it can't just all stay in my hard drive, bro. It's too much. And at the time, it was too much. Right now, it's too much. There's so much stuff that I'm just like, can this send artwork already? Like, I need this to come out, damn it. Yeah. So to me it was more so just the need of like because there's so much being made and so much different stuff being made, like if you didn't like that one also too, you might like this. So give it a try. Yep.
Absolutely. And are you still selling the hoodies?
Yeah, man. The hoodies, I think I put 1 or 2 back up. I think I put up the Rocker Fool one. Yeah.
Which
But
one?
if fools want other ones up, I can put them back up. Yeah, the Rocker Fool hoodie. This one came back by heavy demand. Fools wanted this one bad. So I was like, all right, cool. And yeah, a couple fools picked it up right away. The drawing, by the way, was made by my big bro, Adam Morello. Malero, he's bad. Adam Malero, Donnie's older brother. He's like our big bro. So moment that I had the concept for Rocker Fool, I had to hit up Adam. I was like, bro, you got to hit me with this concept. And yeah, sure enough, he delivered. And I'm actually about to hit him up for Rocker Fool Part 2 pretty soon. So expect that probably next year, early next year.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I can put the other ones up. Fools one.
Let people know, and then see what they say from there.
Yep.
Nobody's bashful about what they do or don't like on the internet.
Definitely. That's most indubitably.
Is there tell us how PLFG came to be?
So, from my knowledge, because I was not there at its inception,
Okay.
from my knowledge, at its inception, it just came about from different fools on Twitch meeting up in different hubs, talking in the chat, moving it from the chat to the Discord to the Twitter, and that's where I kind of came in. Where Scott Swoosh, one of the fools who like helped kind of get the groundwork in motion, that's also the big homie. That's the homie. That's the homie. And we've always had mutual respect for each other growing up, knowing about each other. And he kind of just, I kind of like, I always said like I kind of window shopped PLFG. Like I always window shop communities a little bit before joining them. Where I'm just like, let me see what these fools are about. And like I kind of saw what they were about for a bit.
Yeah.
And then, Swish kind of brought me in, and Swish kind of had to start taking a step back from stuff, and I guess just slid in. Like I said, like I kind of just stay working, and so like anything that needed getting done, I was like, oh, I could do it. At the time, it was like also like mid-pandemic, I think too. It was like towards the end of 12 days, 12 months, most of them were already done. So I was like, I got time, like I got a cool like 5 hours at home in the middle of the day. Uh, so yeah, I was just handling stuff left and right. And what drew me in though was just that like it was a very growth mindset environment. Like fools weren't talking down to you if you didn't know something, you know.
Right.
For me, my Achilles heel as a producer is my mixing and my mastering. Like I'm fucking trash, which is why I just send it to I send it to AXA. It's getting better, but I just usually send it to AXA because also I don't got the time for it. And so yeah, that was something that they really helped me out with big time. Cause my beats before being in PLG, when I send the rough mix, it sounded a little too rough still. So like, you know, they really helped me out, like hone down certain things, especially like the drums, how to get the drums sounding a certain way. You know, remote work, bro. We were on that remote work early. I remember the first night I got shown how to hook everything up and how to run everything a certain way so that it's like, you know, like this, but like with a studio. Oh my mind just like exploded. And bro, I was in those rooms heavy. Like mind you, this is before I had my second son. So my oldest was like turning 3. So he was sleeping through the night. Like I said, you know, coming out of pandemic days, early 2021, you know, some days like he would just stay home with us and just kick it. And so like I was able to stay awake through the freaking night. You know, so like we'd go to bed and I'd be going in till like 3 o'clock in the morning with SWA or the produce or, you know, out in UK with Confia or whoever. And that really like just engulfed me completely, and which led to me streaming. But yeah, they just really like showed me a lot in regards to like mixing, mastering, the business side too with Sir Nick, a lot of stuff he put me on. Um, and it was just a good vibe. Like I said, kind of like with Missile's community, man. Like I don't join communities that are filled with weirdos who just start drama. Like, you know, like forget that. Like I'm, you know, anyone starts that, I weed it out. Like get that away over there. Put that 20 feet away from me, please. And you know, certain things came up here and there, and we dealt with it accordingly. You know, best to them. But you know, we kept it moving, and then once the compilation started going, the collabs, bro, like it was insane. And then I mean, through that, it's what set me up for First and 15th. Once I knew that I wanted to do that, and like also thinking of like my areas of weakness or my areas of development. Um, I'm not strong with my visual work, like all my visual stuff, my art. I did not feel like I was at the part at the par that I wanted to be at.
Mm-hmm.
I needed it to be a little bit higher quality. So within PLFG, the produce also does a lot of graphic design. Like he's the one who did the logo. You know, obviously I love it. I love his work. And so when I was getting ready to do First 15, something I felt like I had to streamline was like the mixing and the artwork. I have to have that going. Like I can only worry about collecting stems and making beats and getting it going and planning out the next couple months, you know, or the next week sometimes. And so yeah, Produce and AXA, they're my team, really. Shout out to them, 1,000,000,001. Like even right now, AXA's mixing down Mercutio's EPs. The Produce just sent me 2 covers for 2 singles that I've been waiting to release. And without them, man, like I would not be able to execute music. So that's where PLFG just, they held me down. I try to hold them down as much as I can from my end. And we all just know that we're there for each other if we ever need anything, you know, beyond just music too. Like it's gotten pretty deep, man. Like, you know,
That's respect.
that COVID Christmas, man, I was, man, those are some dark times. And I remembered like SWA, Sir Nick, Dex, like staying up with me, not even making music, just like talking to me. And it was, just, you know, that stuff that you'll never forget from fools. That you're like, you were there for me when no one else was, my guy. So yeah, that was a lot of them too. So kind of shows the vibe that we have, that we can be vulnerable with each other and really working on deconstructing ourselves to be better people at the end of the day.
That's dope. It's great to be able to find people like that and develop a community that becomes more than just people online. You know, you got a real family and shown chemistry that many look for, they strive for, especially when it comes to, you know, creating music, and you have it.
Yeah, man. Just last night, I cut my stream short because Dex was able to link up, and I hadn't linked up with him in a while, so I just cut the stream off and just went to go meet up with him in the Zoom, talked about our new project, showed each other some songs, worked on something real quick because, of course, we can knock out a beat in 10 minutes, like, yeah, man. And when we started using the PLFG fam phrase, like, I remember, like, I'm like, bro, like, I mean it, like, that's my family, bro. Like, yeah, they need anything, I got them.
Still. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought.
I'm good. Pressure 15. Web3 stuff, wherever you want to go with it, man.
Oh, the Kick app.
Oh yeah.
Now I've listened. I watched you on Twitch before, but I didn't really get into the Kick app until Soy is Real moved over there. That's when I started using it more because I already got enough apps, so you know, started filtering out and uninstalling the ones that I really don't use. So
yeah.
Twitch and Kick, those are my go-tos.
Yeah, man.
Definitely great platforms for producers.
Yeah, it's like Soy said, it's open fields over there right now. And I moved over there a couple months ago. I'm still doing the dual stream for a while. I think I'm gonna keep it going like that for a bit, just because I feel like some people just kind of, it's more like a preference thing, really. That's what it comes down to. At least I've noticed, where like some people just prefer Kick, other people just prefer Twitch, and so I'm gonna keep it like that till we get the funds up a little bit. We can just go everywhere at the same time. But then up until then, I'm gonna just probably stay there. But yeah, I just decided to move over to Kick just because, obviously the better revenue split with creators. Working on the numbers, getting up over there. Like I said, streaming's kind of fallen off there for the past, I'd say, 2 years. Slowly, just less people tuning in. For music production stuff. More people going to, pool Keeney streams and stuff like that. So it is what it is. I can't blame them. Don't really have the room or the space for me to do that, nor do I think people want to see me do that. So I'm going to stick to making beats. And if people want to tune in, they can tune in. If not, I understand. I'm not bringing something that they need to their table at that moment. But for those people that do tune in, shout out to them. And I know a good amount of people tune in. If not then live, they'll tune in later on the replay. So it's there for them,
There it is.
Yep.
And before we get into Sounds and Spite, you started off the beginning of this year with the track South to the Bay.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Mercutio X and that's my guy, man. It's crazy. Like, I barely met him end of last year, I'd say, or middle last year, I'd say. And I had heard of him from my homies back in Oxnard, Miggy and all of them. They told me, oh, you got to check out this dude. And actually, I even told him about this once. There was a day where I was just, doing the dad duty, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like in the middle of doing something. Like I had like a grading night or something. And I see that there was this venue like up literally like 5 minutes walking from the shed. And Mercutio was out there the day before. And I was like, damn it, bro. Like, I didn't know that this was out here and I could have go seen him. So after that, I did my deep dive, did all that. And I don't know who reached out to who first, but first I think it was just more so just on some like, we both pretty, how do I say it? I wouldn't say political, but just socially aware and vocal about certain things. I think it was something off of that one of us hit each other off with. And then, it got into music. And then finally it was like, hey, we should really do something. And it must have been at the end of First 15th, because if not, I would have had him on First 15th. So it was probably like November-ish of last year where we got to like, all right, let's get to doing something. And yeah, late December, mid-December, I got South to the Bay in, and I mean, you heard it, man. Very very selective with who I collab with. Obviously, like I feel like to me that's why I do the job first, and then that way I can be very um I want to say selective, but very strategic with who I collab with, and definitely Mercutio was one that I wanted to, not just because I loved his music, but I like what he stands for as a person, and yeah, man, there's so much with him coming, like ah, there's so much with him coming, and I love that I have these relationships with these artists too, like me and Bones, me and Lee Recca, me and Mongrel, like where we have our our nest, our like our sound, our vision of what we want to do, and we're executing it. Me and Kay, we got an EP coming too, and it's been very nice, man. But yeah, me and Mercutio got 2 EPs on the way.
Oh, okay.
That's what
Nice.
Axel's mixing right now, actually. And then right after that, he's got the Indian K EP. And then right after that, he's got to do the Lyrica EP. And then my album somewhere in there. So we got Axel working. That's what I'm saying. Like I would not have the time to mix and master all this stuff. And even in between there, a beat tape, a couple Lucy's that have gotten done. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man. Without Axel, without produce, none of this would be working right now. South to the Bay included. South to the Bay was mixed and mastered by AXA. And yeah, man, he's mixing and mastering both EPs for me, Mercutio, and probably all the other stuff we got coming down the line, which is going to be a lot. Right now, I think the count's at like 10 tracks that we got.
Nice.
Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff coming out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And his delivery on the first track from the new EP, the
Oh,
ESSJ.
oh, oh my God, bro. So, okay. So at the time that I got that verse too, at the time I'm deciding, okay, this is going to be an EP because this is my more like dark sounding stuff. Sounds in Spite is not yet the title at the time. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be the album. At the time I had ESSJ, the Cafe Cypher joint, Designs, and I forgot what else I had there that was possibly going to be the EP. I was thinking of doing Bottles, I think. Or no, I was thinking of doing another joint that my NFT holders got. But the moment Mercutio sent me that verse and the opening line was never judge an addict because it's tragic that I'm barely sober, I was like, I know what the next track's got to be. And so like it became such a glue verse to the project that like I seriously thanked him like over and over again. I'm like, bro, I hope you know, like without your verse, I don't know if my EP comes out sounding the way it did.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because it was like I said, it was Sounds in Spite. I wanted to tell a story about like the more darker stuff, the more spiteful stuff. I feel like I'm a person who runs on spite. You tell me I can't do something, okay, watch what I'm gonna do. Like me literally going to college is me trying to show my college counselor that, or my high school counselor that, yeah, I could have succeeded and you told me I couldn't. So I run off of air and spite right now. And so I wanted to get that out there, but I didn't know how to tell it. And I felt with that one, I was like, all right, I'm gonna tell this part where ESSJ is like I said, I'm really heavily influenced by like Premiere and Gangstar and stuff. And to me, ESSJ is kind of like the planet where like I acknowledge that I'm from Oxnard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living out here now, and this is my new home now. And so that to me is ESSJ is the planet. And that's where like I felt like, okay, I'm gonna start telling this story. And there's a little bit of spite in that too, because I really wish I could be over here, but I know why I'm here. And then going into Bottles, telling a little bit about the past. Then Cafe Cypher joint, where I'm, talking a little papas here and there because I'm a little spiteful for some fools. Then Designs, where I'm talking about kind of what I was talking about in Cafe and not getting my time wasted and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then why do I not want my time wasted? Because I got some bigger stuff going on over here where Forex goes off the deep end. And I'm sure a couple of fools did not expect that song to be about that. And I just felt like I had to go there, man. Like, to me, that was like after that COVID Christmas, another very dark point where I was just like, talking about miscarriages from the point of view of a male in the relationship. And 2 times as a son and a brother, and 2 times as a father and a husband. So, you know, I had to kind of go there with it, but I'll pick it back up with the album because it'll be more happier tunes. Yeah, so hopefully people will see that was the vision for the project with Sound and Spite, and going into the project that I'm going to be dropping hopefully end of this year, or if we can get it mixed and mastered. Which is going to be called Where I'm At Right Now, which is, like I said, where I feel like I'm at right now. I feel like I'm in the ocean, living the dream, having the family and everything. And yeah, just sustaining and maintaining, man.
Now, with all of the projects that you produce,
yep.
What made you want Sounds and Spite to have showcase other producers?
So, damn, I feel like you might have read my mind with this one. You be digging a little too deep, my guy. No, so funny about this, tying it all together. I remembered one day, the whole me writing to songs actually started with one day we were in the PLG meeting, and we're talking about, you know, what we're going to do with compilations, what else we're going to do with these beats, and we got just kind of chilling out there. And I remember jokingly, but not jokingly, saying, bro, fuck it. If no one spits to these, I'm going to start spitting to these. And that's literally what I said one time. And like a couple people were like, all right, cool, go for it. And from there, you know, one song turned into two turned into 3. Nick sends me another batch. You know, I find this one on a beat tape from Stony, which is how I found the one for ESSJ. I'm on YouTube and I'm playing the homies' music and I come across the beat for designs. You know, like I just start, you know, talking to my network and building with them and being like, yo, like, I'm not trying to see your beat just sit there, man. Like, this is a dope ass beat and I wrote something to it.
Yeah.
Do you like it? You know, a couple people were like, yeah, or oh, that one got used already here. You know, stuff happened where we had to switch, and yeah, or Cafe Cypher Joint, which is one of my favorites. The beat for Cafe Cypher Joint started with us doing our pre-production during Collab Cafe. So before I had my youngest, we used to have a collab night where we would stream it live. We're thinking of bringing it back soon. We tried it one night, but we had some issues. Blah, blah. Anyways, in our pre-production, we usually just like, you know, sound check, make sure everyone can hear each other, yada, yada, shoot the shit. And we're shooting the shit for a little bit longer than what we expect to that night. All the while, I think it's me, Carl, Stoney, and Dane. I'm not sure if the produce was there that night, but the 4 or 5 of us are in there, and Stoney and Dane are just shooting files back and forth to each other. They're not saying nothing. It's just me and Carl talking about some nonsense or whatever. And finally, I'm like, all right, let's get started with stream, you know? And I download all the files, I drop them in the project, and the beat's fucking done. Like, the beat, how you hear it on the project, was what I opened up. And I was like, yo, like, I'm not mad or anything, but I'm not doing anything to this beat. Like, this beat's perfect. Like, I'm cool. So we just kind of streamed it. I was like, you know what? Let me write to this. And I had like half a verse to it, which is the beginning part of that verse. And I just finished writing most of it that night. I think maybe like the last 2 bars weren't done. But yeah, I just ended up writing to it on stream and recording it. And so from there, just like, all right, this sounds like a Cypher track. And it's named it Collab Cafe. And there we go. And so we got Lee, we got Mongrel, killed it. Got my homie Dirty Coke on there, who's like one of my oldest friends since high school. Held me down back in the high school days. And yeah, killed it.
And what part of Canada is DJ Dane from?
It's from Vancouver.
Vancouver, okay.
Yeah, British Columbia area, I believe. I'm not too sure Vancouver precisely, but British Columbia area for sure. Yeah, yeah, he's dope. He talk about versatility. That fool right there. Shout out to Dan.
Produce.
Yeah.
For track 2, Bottles. Oh my goodness. I
Yo.
mean, this is one of my tracks. You know, I think as I get older in my age and getting a little more mature, certain things hit me because you go through things in life, and this is one of those tracks that, you know, growing up seeing certain issues with alcoholism, this really, I got it.
Yeah, man, and that's where I wanted to go with it. I feel like we've all seen it, and talking about it in a non-preachy way, I think, is what my intent was. was just kind of talking about my own experience with it. Sitting all alone in this room with an empty bottle looking far from the kid's role model, like, you know what I meant by that. I feel like that's another part where we paint our leaders, our role models as being these perfect individuals, where it's like, nah, bro, we're all flawed. We've all had our trials and tribulations. It's about how we overcome that makes you the leader, the whatever, which is hopefully where I took it to at the end, where it's like, I'm not perfect. I'm not over here claiming I'm cold turkey, but I'm not there, But yeah, that beat, man. Originally, it was a Vitamin T beat from Planet Ox. I'll send you the whole version. And couldn't clear it, so I ended up going a different route with it, and just messaging everybody, hey, I got this song. Anyone got something around this BPM? Baggy sends the pack over. Second, third beat, boom, pulled it up. Did like 1-2 tweaks to it and did a guitar solo. Actually, originally too, the original plan was to have like instead of the hook, it was supposed to be guitar solos in between there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got you with that version too. And I played it and it was cool, but it was like I told an artist recently, I'm like, I'm okay with it, but I want to be excited about it. Like I wanted to be excited about the song, and so wrote around.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like it was like I was content with it, but I wasn't like, oh hell yeah. So then I'm riding around one day, and title goes off on shuffle, and Danny pops up, and I'm like, why the fuck haven't I asked Danny to do a hook on this? like it just like popped like in my head, and so message Danny, hit me back in a week, like, hey, I've been a little busy, got you by Thursday. Hits me back like the next day with the version, and oh my god! The moment I heard the hook, I was like, "Oh!" Like opening note, I was like, "Nah, this will really fit this." And so, had to bring back the 3-verse song structure for that one, and the hooks and the solo, and I just felt like it was like trying to show the versatility, where it's like, all right, you guys want to someone wants to make the argument again. Sounds of spite. Someone want to make the argument I can't write a song. Here you go, song structure.
And the raindrops near the end with the solo. That's perfect.
Danny, not me. For the record, Danny, not me. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Then we get into track 4, which was the next single, Designs.
Yeah. Yeah, Axe of X and Bill's beats on that one. PLFG, we all collab with each other. And again, I was just bumping the YouTube one day, and I think I wrote the verse to the beat. I want to say I wrote it to something else and switched it to that, but no, I think it was to that. I mean, I opened up the first couple bars, and the moment I finished it, I was like, oh, I got to send this to AXA real quick. And, sent it to AXA. And automatically got the stems back. It's like, yeah, it's open. It's yours. Go for it. Originally, I had another artist planning to be on there, but artists had scheduling conflicts. Let me know, hey, I can't make it for your deadline. Sorry. I was like, all right, it's all good. That's another thing I love about my artists that I work with. So transparent with their communication. Like, they can't make it, and it's all good. And so that's where then I asked Kay, and I was like, yo, like, we're working on stuff. You think you got time for reverse over here? And I felt like also, too, when I've been looking for these features, not only for the EP, but for the album, I'm looking for people who are, like I said, of that same community, of that same mindset. And I felt like with Designs, I needed someone talking about stuff from either like like, I don't want to say get money perspective, but like a very objective, goal completed point of view, or like a parental view. And ours I had before also had both, kind of, not parental, but the like go get it done mentality. And so like when Kay came at it with also the parental view on it too, it just it tied it all in, which is going to be leading into the album, and that's where it just all blended perfect. I'm like, all right, cool, we got to do this. And yeah, man, Kay came through on that verse. Yeah, he killed it. We got something else coming down the line too, by the way, with Kay. And
okay.
and some other stuff. Like I said, we got an EP coming, but also don't be surprised if you hear K on a song you might have already heard on the EP. Yeah. Like I said, we got alternate versions, so
I gotta ask because after I can't even say after your verse, the way your verse flows and then goes into the chorus, it almost sounds like one. Was that on purpose?
yeah, this was me tripping off of something me and Trade were talking about for a couple years. The concept of hooks, where a hook doesn't need to be 8 bars. A hook is A minor, is anything. It's that part that you keep coming back to, like, and so even with ESSJ, like the last couple bars, like it's the hook, but it's my verse. And like it doesn't come after Mercutio's verse. So like with that, I just felt like at that point I wanted to get melodic, and so why not make it the hook type thing?
Yeah.
So that's where it was coming from, more so that it was like what I know here is supposed to be a part that I need to bring the listener back in because they've been listening to me for fucking 16 bars and I'm barring them out. And so right now they need something melodic or something to catch their ear, and had to drop that. And then that's why I bring it back after K's verse real briefly to go into the next part.
And then, oh man, this is the last track. That's very dark and moody. 4 times.
Yeah, man. 4 times, like I was talking about it earlier, man. Talking about experiencing a miscarriage 4 times and being very, very angry and telling powers that maybe you're not getting a fucking 5th. Like that was the last time you're doing that. Like, and I feel like I said, like we've might have heard the perspective of it from the mother's side, but I felt like coming at it from a male perspective, I don't think it's something that we tend to hear. Not only, and I don't think, period, the topic of miscarriage is something we like to talk about when it's really like 1 in 4 pregnancies, unfortunately, is usually the result of that. And it's more common than it is talked about, I think. And so that's what I wanted to really do, where to normalize the talk of it, to be able to discuss it, because I feel like it becomes almost like a badge of shame almost, but it's not. It's just, it's life, man. Life sometimes gets a little dark. It helps to talk about it. And if this can maybe open up the discussion here or wherever, I think it's going to do its job and its intent. I just had to let it known how I felt about that whole time. Like I said, first time I shouldn't have been first. There should have been an older brother to me, but I am the oldest. Second time, seeing it happen as a son to my mom with my twin sister, who didn't have a twin, and then twice with me as a father and a husband, and then feeling like I almost had a 5th and telling them, you're not getting this one, you're not getting this one. And, the little miracle baby that my kid is, it's a crazy one, man. That made me kind of reevaluate certain spiritual values of mine. So it was definitely had to try to capture that little space and time into a song and put it there just in case people were going through it. I feel like, again, it helps to open up the discussion about certain things.
And for such an emotional topic, you didn't rhyme in an angry way. You rhymed in a very calm, streamlined way throughout the entire song.
Bruh, the amount of takes I did on that thing. Shout out to Musically for being so patient with me, because I tried it like one where it was just like and it sounded annoying. Like I didn't want to hear it. Like, and I feel like that's another thing where, like, if I'm gonna talk about this, I need to make it pleasant to hear, even though it's not something people want to hear about. And so that's where that calm delivery came from, where I was like, I gotta say this in like kind of like spoken word, kind of rapping, but after having processed all this is where I'm at still. And
another thing is it reminded me of sometimes of Slug from Atmosphere, how he does that as well in some of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I definitely grew up listening to a lot of Ant. Yep. Yeah, and Slug.
Shout out to Musically. She really did a thing on production on that one.
Yeah, man. Musically is. I can't wait to hear more music from her. We actually have one of the singles that's in the pipeline, a little clogged up. Was actually a collab between me and her with Richie Sevens on the verse. Can't wait to drop that. Just waiting on the artwork. I'm about to go hunt some food down McLaughlin later on and be like, motherfucker. No, yeah, but I need my artwork. Yeah.
So now, how does it feel to have your first official project as an MC?
It feels weird because I've done verses in the past, and I feel like certain fools that went through those verses were like, oh, yeah, of course this fool does it. Like, it was kind of like, oh, okay, like you're doing your own thing now, okay. And then there was the opposite, the other reaction of like, you rap? Oh, you actually can rap? Like, it's not just like
Different reactions.
yeah, the reactions were the best to me. But honestly, like it it feels good because I was told by those that I look up to within my artist group to do it. Cross, well, Steve Valens now, Dirty Code, Cuzzy, like all those fools heard these songs and were like, dude, do it. That's like they're like, nah, you got to do this. Like, and so when it came to doing the songs that weren't, the Gungo Bang, I Sell Bricks songs, I felt confident that I could be me because all these fools are telling me, do it. Like this part needs to be told too, not just Gungo Bang.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
One thing I gotta say from one father to another, the way you handled when your son came in is a great example of parenting and being a father, because
Thanks, man.
that could have went a completely different way.
No, and I mean that, and I feel like also too, like that's just kind of how I am with him. He knows that this space is for this, and like he knows that when I'm talking to someone over here, like it's dad's working, or
Yeah.
like he knows Butter too. Butter, like I said, like PLFD and the Jason Fools, we fam. Like Butter knows my kid knows Butter. Like he knows, and he knows that this is what I do, and I, again, being true to myself, like I'm not a father, and I love being a father, but I'm also a producer. I'm also a teacher. I'm also all these other things. And again, JX, right? Me and whatever I'm working with, or whoever I'm working with, be it my son or artists. Yeah, I'm gonna be me.
And definitely great speaking with you to see that insight of the balance.
Yeah, man.
I should say.
Definitely. I feel like one wifey holds me down, as you saw later on. She came in and grabbed him. Like she's my rock. Shout out to my wife. The moment right now hits, she knows. She probably already put him down already right now. But she knows that from 9 to 11. This for Richie Sevens. He's probably gonna tell me about his stuff. I'm gonna write to him later. Yeah, she knows that from now to then, it's the time that like I'm doing music, so she really holds me down, and it makes it so that when I come back to fatherhood, I want to be there present, and I'm not just think like she even said it too, like it's better not be just waiting to go back there. And like I want to come out here, but like I also like want to be like invested with my kids around, doing pretend play. I'm doing, Shadowlands with them and all that other stuff. So exactly, yeah. NJ knows. Shout out to wifey, man. She holds it down. And time management, that like I gotta stay.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
Even Sir Nick said in the chat, he's like, hey, JX is a model citizen when it comes to time management. And it really it's the only way I can get stuff done, man. Because then I feel like I'm not getting stuff done, or like, yeah.
Respect to you on that, and respect to your wife as well. Yeah.
But also, wifey gets her nights too.
Yeah.
Wifey gets her nights too, where she can do her thing, and also us two do our thing.
That's how it should be. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, man. I love it. I love it. It's great. She don't gotta bump my music. She's gotta let me do me.
I just got a few more questions, and
Yeah,
one
me too.
is because I heard that remix that you did. I have to ask, how big of a Mozzie fan are you?
I'm getting into Mozzie.
Okay, all right.
I've heard a lot of his songs, and I couldn't name you a song, but like I've never heard a Mozzie song that I didn't like. And you know, being up here in Northern California, from Southern California, like took a little bit of adjustment to the whole music scene a little
Mm-hmm.
bit there during the Chico days, but like he was one of the first artists that stood out to me. And yeah, that like kind of like with Cuzzy too, that you could talk that street talk but still get introspective with it and go a layer beyond the surface. To me, that's what makes good music. Even like with my stuff, like with the fatherhood stuff, like okay, cool, you're a dad, but what else? Like okay, cool, like you was in the street, but what else? And so like that's where like so many Mozzie lines, like it goes beyond just the surface level of like being in the streets, you know. Like he goes really into like the psychology of it, the feeling of it, the emotion of it, and
Yeah.
not it's not the glorification of it, it's the talking about it. Because you know, kind of like Hope said, right? Like they acting like Hope told you to sell drugs. No, Hope did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. Like that whole mindset and delivery, to me, that's what Mozzie brings. So yeah, when I heard that song, oh my god, I was like, I gotta, I gotta rip that. I couldn't get it out of my head, bro. I was trying to go to bed so bad because I knew my kid was gonna be up, but I just couldn't get it out of my head. So I was like making it on the couch, like 12:30, like passing out. I had to though.
And my other question is,
Yeah.
the singer Zay, singer
Oh,
and MC.
yeah,
You did you and DJ Dane produced the
yeah,
track. What was that? I'm sorry, Homegirls and Hennessy.
yes, bruh. So Homegirls and Hennessy, yeah. Zay came to us with a song idea, and you know I've been knowing Zay for a while. Um, and we had been working on the EP with me and Dan Zico, and we're wrapping up the EP. And she came to me with the song idea. She's like, I kind of need this rework, you know, done this way, done that. And so I was like, you know what? Give me a week. Let me hit up Dane real quick because I know we could do this. And so we did that joint and another joint that we haven't released yet. And yeah, the moment we threw it on, it was
You already knew.
it was over. Like I think I got it started with the drums, and after that, like 30 minutes we had the beat done. We just took our time structuring it out and everything. But yeah, it was definitely just me and Dane being me and Dane. We have another song in one of the PLFG compilations that's like really of that like I wouldn't say EDM, but like that electronic vibe, that dance vibe, where like
Dance vibe, yeah.
yeah, it almost sounds like this other joint we have. It's called PLFG Nights. It's a me, Dane, and Carl joint. It sounds like Waiting for Tonight. Like to me, it has that vibe of like
Okay.
Waiting for Tonight. And so like again, like I'm not just the rock hip hop fool. Like I had my days where I used to bump Chemical Brothers all day and Prodigy, not from Mobb Deep, the group,
Yeah.
So like I have that background of that, but like I never dove too deep. But Dane knows how to bring it out of me, so that's where I was like, let me just hit up Dane real quick and we can knock these things out. And sure enough, we did.
Yeah, that was dope. I could definitely hear her doing a lot of dance and house music vibe like that as well.
Yeah,
And
Dane's range in that realm is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on the lighter side of things, the work she's done with Danny is amazing too.
Ah, yes. Yeah, that whole EP. I mean, shout out to Zay for that one. He he's a great engineer, man. If anyone's out in LA and looking for someone to work, make sure y'all hit him up, Danny Zico. What can't that fool do? Like, yeah, that was amazing. As an MC too, people don't know his bar stuff, but I looked into it. It was good. He kills it, man. Yeah, I can't wait to get more off of him. He's got a couple of mine that might come down the line someday.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get him more stuff, honestly, but he has a couple of mine. Yep.
Yeah. Now with the MC and bug got got you going and going.
Yeah.
Have you done any have you created any music with your production and also rhyming over it? Yes. Okay.
Heart from the first and 15th series. That one was self-produced. I got a joint on the album with me and Trade. That's self-produced as well. Um, y'all gonna be hearing that. Oh, and on the Lee Recca EP, I got a verse in one of the cipher joints that he has, or the cipher joint that he has.
Okay.
So yeah, I got a couple verses out there floating in the wild. I think we might have a couple more down the line. I kind of wrote my ass off there for a bit, so I need to live a little. I kind of get that's what I'm saying too. Like I get the roadblocks of an artist as an MC.
Yeah.
Like I've only lived this amount of life, so I can only talk about this. So now let me live a little bit more life, and I can talk a little bit about this. And so I get it. I get it now. Where you could be like, bro, I love your beat, but I don't know what the hell, right? And that's happened like 2-3 times already. We're like, oh, can you hit me with a verse? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And I'll listen to the beat, and I'm like, I'll love the beat. I can't think of a damn word to write, or like I'll think of words to write, but they don't sound cool. So I'm good. I don't want to hold you up. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So some on the way, 3 on the way right now.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yep.
I look forward to that. Once again, I put the link up, the solo website.
Thanks, man.
All things JX there. All the social media platforms, all the music. It's all right there. One-stop shop.
Yep. Thanks, man.
I appreciate you, JX, taking this time to speak with us. Not only Sounds of Spike, but the music, the life, how everything comes into one.
Yeah, man. We covered a lot, man. And yeah, I mean, we could cover a lot more. We still have like the whole NFT stuff, the 15th, and yeah, man, it's nuts. Like that's the crazy part too. The whole NFT thing that like I can't believe I sold out my first NFT, bro. Like, that was so out of nowhere. And like it's looking like this next one coming up, which is gonna be a me and Indian K NFT collab. It's looking like there might be one left for the public once it all comes out. If people come through and buy them, which they didn't last time, but just ended up buying them. Like no one told me nothing. Fools just bought it, and I was like, "All right, cool.
All right.
I don't know none of y'all. Now I do." And so now fools are like, "Let me know when it drops." So yeah, man. If anyone's looking to support the cause and get a lot of exclusive stuff, like for example, fools that got my NFT last time had Sounds in Spite back in May. They got the alternate versions. They got the alternate cover. There's an alternate cover, and yeah, you get to be part of the experience, and it's a whole different realm that I'm so glad I tapped into. Shout out to my homie Mr. Joker for keeping me in the ecosystem. Shout out to Crescendo for keeping me in their Discord and allowing me the space in there. And yeah, man, 1st and 15th, never doing that again. But I'm hoping y'all liked it. That shit was crazy, bro. I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, how the hell was I doing a song every 2 weeks while teaching, while having a newborn? That was crazy. Yeah, shout out to everyone who, especially everyone like July after. Oh my God, y'all came through for me so much, man. Yeah. Yep.
NJ the AK, man.
Thanks, fool. Appreciate you too.
Thank you. Always tuning in and always dropping some knowledge. No matter what we're listening to, what Twitch we're on. If we're on Flip the Script Radio, which I didn't get to tune in tonight, but as always, we appreciate you as well.
Yep.
JX, before we go, is there anything else you want to let us know about before you give your shout outs and where else you can go check you out at?
Yeah, all the extra residuals. Yeah, no, just thanks for having me on, man. Like I said, I got an album coming out soon. We got 2 with Mert, one with Indian K, one with Lee Recca, another one with Adro from Everything Working out there in Memphis. And I feel like I'm missing a couple singles with Deadstock, a single with Non Fierro, single with Richie Sevens, just what he was probably calling me about right now. And another single with Supreme 7, some stuff with Nim Sins out here, some stuff with Big Daddy Chop. Like, yeah, the Bay is getting a lot of love coming the second half of the year, man. Like a lot of stuff. Like I've been out in Oakland a good amount of times. Shout out to Nim and Chop and Supreme 7 for taking me out there, man. I love being out in Oakland. It's so fun.
That's great.
Yeah, man.
I gotta give you a shout out for, once again, like I said, before this interview, for putting me on to artists as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that whole group out there, bro. Oh my god, like I can't wait to let out some of the stuff that we got ready. The non-track, like I'm also just waiting on artwork. It's me and Johnson produced track. The hardest working man in Oxford. Thanks, NJ. And yeah, I can't wait for y'all to hear that one, man. I'll definitely be sending it to Missile and shit. And yeah, the Richie Stebbins joint too. Like I said, me musically did the production on that. Can't wait for y'all to hear that. Yeah, NFT coming probably next month, and y'all will get early access to the Me and Indian case stuff and probably stuff down the line. Some coin airdrops too as well. Like, yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, it becomes such an experience. Like, my NFT holders are my people right now. Where I'm like, yo, brah, here you go. The other day, in the Algorand Eagles, there's a blob coin, which is like a coin that you use to enter raffles for NFTs. And I dropped a cool 100 for each person there, and I was like, bro, here you go. Like, go enter a raffle real quick. And yeah, man, it's great, and that's how we can get that literal community growing. And
yeah,
it's not a transactional thing. It's a communal thing where like we all got each other. And
got you.
Great. It's great when it becomes that. Jay's got everything on the juggle for real. That's pretty much what I'll be doing, just juggling everything. Fatherhood, musicianship, NFTs,
time management.
Exactly, time management, NJ. That's all it is. And wifey being the best.
I definitely, JX, when the album drops, definitely look forward to speaking with you again.
Yeah,
and
man.
We'll definitely dive into the NFTs as well.
Yeah, man. By then it'll be cracking, and I think the big one will be out too, or in development at least then too. So, yeah, man. Thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you once again.
Yep.
On behalf of HHDG Media, we're gonna say peace.
I'm going, yo.